Acceptance sampling in Minitab. If you click on this stat and then quality control tools and then acceptance sampling by attributes, so click on there and then create a sampling plan. You can use a user defined plan, you can create bunch of plans. So for example, and then is it number of defectives per 100 units. So let's say this AQL value is 1.2 and then RQ value is 6, and then sample size you can create for different sample size in the same graph, and then for different acceptance number, for example 0, 2, 4, something like that. Then you can have lot size. If you give lot size, it will be able to create the average in total inspection. If you don't give that, it should work. So if you hit OK, this is what you get. So basically this produces the three condition we have here, this graph, and then this is the average outgoing quality with rectification. Without rectification, it's going to be a straight line through this way, and then average number inspected, that's also created like that. Now you want to compare, you can actually do so many ways. For example, you want to see if you delete that 6, it still should produce the graph, and then in that case it's gonna be fixed AQL, and then it will produce for this situation. So if you hit OK, so as you can see, it produced this. Keep that, it will just give you a random generation of for that, keeping 1.2 for that AQL value. So let's go to there. So it keeps that AQL value 1.2 and then generated for this. Now if you don't have this lot size, it will still produce stuff for you, but if you don't have lot size, it cannot really calculate the average total inspection and other stuff. So it will just produce these operating characteristics. As you know that operating characteristic does not need the lot size. Now let's go, you can do by variables, compare different plans. So you can do number of defective, you can create user defined plan, so you can have different sample size, different k values, things like that. However, typically we only do the attributes that are more applicable. So let's see all of the options. So create a sampling plan, LQU, and then whether you give lot size or not, it's gonna do create that number of defective per hundreds. The one I think one problem with Minitab, you cannot have a double sampling plan. I didn't know whether it can create or not, but you check my other videos in Excel how to create a double sampling plan using Excel. But if you have a single sampling plan, it will produce all this stuff for you easily. If you have to compare a bunch of different plans, I would say Minitab is the best to do that. It will create things, so you can just use a defined plan. You can create a bunch of different plans, and then just it will just produce all the comparison graphs for you, so it's easier to see, and then we can decide which one to go for. So it's easier to compare using that. Create this in Excel is going to take a while. So I think that's it in Minitab acceptance sampling.